As per latest report from Economic Times, Mumbai property market has touched a new peak with over 1,131 crore stamp duty collection in March. And not only Mumbai, real estate all over India has seen a sharp recovery post-COVID after a long slump of 4 to 5 years. In fact, if you look at the loan book of leading banks in India, home loan has grown significantly. Even Indian government has a lot of focus on affordable housing with plans like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. And when the real estate and infrastructure would grow, it would directly benefit multiple sectors because when you construct a house or a building, you need a lot of stuff, including your paint, cement, wires and cables, electrical equipment, furniture, and so on. Hi everyone, my name is Sahil and this is my Personal Finance Academy. In this video, I want to cover the fundamental analysis of a company that is among the leader in India's plywood market with a market share of 25% in the Indian organized plywood market. Currently, it has a market cap of around 16,000 crore. In last 2 years since COVID, this company has generated more than 580% return. Can you guess the name of the company? Well, it is Century Plyboard. So in this video, we'll deep dive into the business of Century Ply and try to understand its business, its promoter details, key strength, future growth, competitors, and key risk. Then we'll look at the financials, valuations, and its shareholding pattern. Finally, we'll conclude if Century Ply is fundamentally strong or not. But again, I would repeat, this video is not a buy or sell call. The idea is to help you understand the business of the company so that you can make an informed investment decision. To learn more about how to do fundamental analysis, you can explore our online course. Alright, let's get started. Established in 1986, Century Plyboard is an undisputed leader in India's interior infrastructure sector. Company possesses a wide range of products ranging from plywood to laminate to MDF, that is your medium density fiber board, to particle boards, providing a one-stop solution for interior infrastructure. These products cater to every segment of the society, right from someone who is building the home for the first time to the luxury segment. Over the last 35 years, Century Plyboard has transformed from a single product company to a multi-product organization. Its reach has expanded from Eastern India to Pan-India. If you look at the product segment, it has mainly plywood, laminates, and MDF, that is medium density fiberboard, and particle board. Let us try to understand these products and the difference. So plywood and laminates are commonly used in furnitures, but the key difference is plywood is made up by aggregating thin sheets of wood called veneer using powerful adhesives, whereas laminates can be manufactured from high density fiber, melamine resin, or wood particles. Laminates are also popularly known as sunmica. So laminates have been steadily replacing wood, particularly in flooring. This is mainly because laminates provide the look of traditional wood for a fraction of cost. In addition to being cheaper, laminates are scratch resistant, durable, and easier to clean than traditional wood. And it is easier to maintain as it is resistant to pretty much everything except long exposure to water. Next popular category is MDF, that is medium density fiberboard. It is made up of wood fibers joined together using wax. It is cheaper than plywood and is smoother than plywood, that makes it a good base for painting. Again, every category has different usage. For example, MDF doesn't handle moisture well, so it is not suitable for outdoors, but it is great for indoor furnitures and decorative panel. Whereas plywood is much stronger than MDF and can be used for outdoor furnitures, doors, etc. And final category is particle board, which is made up of waste wood material. It is cheaper than plywood and MDF and mainly used in low-end home decor furniture. So I hope you understand the different type of product categories within Century Ply. As far as the business is concerned, Century Ply had major business from plywood, but now it has expanded in other categories to reduce dependency on single product category. For instance, in FY16, plywood consisted 71.3% of total revenue, followed with laminates and others. However, in FY21, plywood contribution has now reduced to 53.3%. It is followed by laminates with 19.4% contribution, MDF has 17.1% contribution, and it did not existed in FY16. Century Ply has a wide product portfolio with 18,000 plus SKUs and a strong distribution network of 2,200 plus dealers and 18,500 plus retail touchpoints. Company has 12 manufacturing plants, 9 domestic and 3 overseas. If you look at Indian facilities, Plywood has 6 manufacturing facilities including West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Assam, Gujarat and Uttarakhand. Then laminate manufacturing is in West Bengal and MDF manufacturing is in Punjab and particle board manufacturing is in Tamil Nadu. If you look at FY21 capacity utilization, plywood utilization was 68%, laminate utilization was 74%, MDF 72% and particle board 102%. Now if you look at promoters of Century Ply, Mr. Sajjan Bhajanka is the chairman and MD of the company. He is 69 years old and has 42 years of experience. Then Sanjay Agarwal is the CEO and MD. He is 60 years old and has 34 years of experience. Then Vishnu Khemani is the MD with 43 years of experience and Prem Kumar Bhajanka is also the MD with 41 years of experience. It also has young blood including Keshav Bhajanka and Nikita Bansal. Both are executive directors of the company. Keshav is the son of Mr. Sajjan Bhajanka and he is graduate from University of Warwick, UK. So overall company has a very experienced leadership and it also includes the second generation young blood with new ideas to lead the company in its next phase of growth. Hence, overall on the company business and its leadership, I would rate it 10 on 10. Now if you look at the key strength, its first strength is strong brand name. Century Ply is a well-known product with top-notch product quality in the plywood industry which is highly fragmented. Among 70% of plywood industry is dominated by unorganized player and within organized segment, Century Ply commands 25% market share. Moreover, now that it has forayed into MDF and the particle board segment, its profile has become more diversified. This brand name helps Century Ply command premium prices. Then second strength is wide product portfolio. Company has its presence across the value chain of interior infrastructure with 18,000 plus SKUs and a strong distribution network of 2,200 plus dealers and 18,400 plus retail touchpoints. Then its third strength is innovation. Innovation has been one of the biggest strengths of Century Ply. For example, in FY21, it introduced Virokill feature that uses nanoparticles in MDF and particle board that kills virus, bacteria and fungus that keeps the surface safe and hygienic. Then in FY22, company launched firewall technology that delays the spread of fire and does not act as a medium for spread or rapidly burn itself. It gives customer critical time to act, save their life, call for fire brigade, ambulance, etc. So overall, Century Ply is innovating with new range of products that keeps it ahead of the competitors. The Indian furniture market size was estimated at around $55 billion and is expected to grow at a CAGR of 12.91% during 2020 to 2024. While the global furniture market was estimated at $1.1 trillion in 2020. The Indian furniture market accounted for 5% of global demand, which indicates a growth potential, especially at a time when number of global buyers are looking forward to India as an alternative to China as the furniture manufacturing base. And if you look at the TAM, that is total addressable market of Century Ply, plywood has a TAM of 22,000 crore, laminate has a TAM of 5,000 crore, MDF TAM is 2,500 crore, particle board TAM is 3,000 crore. And Century Ply position in overall market in plywood is 5%, in organized segment it is 25%. In laminate the market is 8% and organized segment market share is 15%. In MDF the overall market share is 14% and organized market share is 15%. In particle board the overall market share is 3% and organized market share is 9%. So in total, the overall market is around 33,000 crore, whereas Century Ply commands only 6% overall market share and 18% organized market share. So one thing is very clear, the market size is big and there's a huge opportunity for Century Ply to grow from current level of 6% market share. Now if you look at the growth drivers, the growing population and urbanization have catalyzed the construction for corporate offices, retail spaces, educational facility, government buildings, hotel, healthcare, industrial spaces, etc. This in turn is expected to influence the offtake of wood, laminate and flooring products. And after a long subdued performance of around 3-4 years, the real estate sector has picked up due to the fall in home loan rates. This would directly benefit the plywood industry. Then government has a lot of focus on housing for all with Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. That would again require furniture. Then another key factor is consolidation of plywood industry from unorganized to organized segment. Wood panel industry is expected to grow in double digit for the next 5 years. Especially the MDF segment is growing quickly and is expected to grow at around 15 to 20% CAGR due to rise in demand for modular kitchen and cheaper alternative to plywood. Century Ply has set a target of revenue of 5,000 crore by FY26. It means company is expecting a CAGR growth of 19% between FY21 and 26. Company has planned a capex of 1230 crore, out of which 580 crore is for MDF, 160 crore is for plywood, 150 crore is for laminate, and 70 crore is for particle boards. If you look at the key risk, first risk is strong competition. Century Board has a strong competition from both organized and unorganized segment. It restricts its pricing power to an extent. If you look at some of the competitors of Century Ply, it include Green Ply, Green Lamb, Green Panel, etc. But interestingly, Century Ply is more diversified company across the value chain of interior infrastructure. For example, Century Ply has presence in plywood and blockboard, doors, deco veneer, laminate, particle board, as well as MDF. Whereas Green Ply doesn't have presence in laminate, particle board and MDF. Green Lamb doesn't have presence in plywood, particle board and MDF. And Green Panel doesn't have presence in laminate and particle board. Then second risk is raw material price fluctuation. Raw material prices are one of the concern for the company that include phenol, melamine, paper and timber. And due to rising inflation, the raw material cost can impact the profitability of the company. Although Century Ply generally pass on this cost to the end consumer. Then third risk is dependence on real estate sector. Plywood industry has a dependence on real estate sector. So if there is a slowdown in the real estate sector, it would directly impact Century Ply business. So if you look at the revenue of Century Ply, it has grown from 1,641 crore in March 16 to 2,871 crore in trailing 12 months. Although this growth has not been that great, and one of the reason is due to slowdown in real estate sector. However, in March 2021, it was at 2,130 crore and from there it has grown significantly to levels of 2,871 crore. And if you look at the profitability, again the profits have not been that great. In fact, the profit fell down from 190 crore in March 17 to 163 crore, then 148 crore. However, in March 2021 and trailing 12 months, the profits have grown from 151 crore to 191 crore and currently it is 311 crore. So this growth has been very good, and one of the reason for this fall in profit is due to again the slowdown in real estate sector. But now that this real estate sector is picking up, it has been reflected in the profitability of Century Ply. Hence on overall growth ratio, I would rate it 7 out of 10. Now if you look at the operating margin again fell down, but then it has started to recover, so currently it is at 17%. And if you look at the ROE and ROCE, the ROE again it fell down from 31.9% to 26.6, then 19.2, then 15, 13.9, but again it has started to recover to 15.1 and latest ROE is 22.6, which is very good. And then if you look at the ROCE, it again fell down from 24.7% to 20, then 17, 16, 15, but now it has started to recover 19.1 and latest ROCE is 28.8, which is again very good. So overall on profitability, I would rate it 7 on 10. Next, if you look at the debt to equity, company has consistently reduced its debt from 0.9 to 0.85, 0.68, 0.5 and the latest debt to equity is 0.14 for trailing 12 months. So on debt to equity, I would rate it 10 on 10. Next, if you look at the reserves of the company have grown consistently over the years from 507 crore in March 16 to 1,352 crore in trailing 12 months. And if you look at the share price movement, currently it is trading at levels of 710 and in last 5 years the returns are 173%. So it was trading at levels of rupees 100 during the COVID lows, and from there the stock has generated almost 7x return. Now if you look at the valuation of the company, it is trading at a P ratio of 50.69. which is slightly on the higher side. But remember that company is going to command a premium due to its leadership in plywood industry. It has got a dividend yield of 0.14%. Now if you look at the shareholding pattern, promoters have increased the shareholding slightly from 72.68% to 73.05% and currently it is 73.04. So promoter hold a significant amount of shareholding in the company. FIIs, if we see, have been more or less stagnant. In March 19 it was 7.73 and currently it is 5.47. Although from September to December, FIIs have increased the shareholding in the company. And if you look at DII holding, DIIs have significantly increased the shareholding from 7.31% to currently at 13.2%. And again, as compared to September, the DIIs have increased the shareholding in the company. So in this video, we discuss the fundamentals of Century Plyboard. It is the largest company in Indian plywood sector and a growing brand with wide range of products across the value chain and a strong distribution network. Company has a strong and experienced leadership. Company is innovating and launching new products. And as far as future growth is concerned, the future is certainly bright. Century Ply still has just 6% share in the overall furniture sector with a huge scope of growth. Company is targeting a revenue of 5,000 crore by FY26 and a CAGR growth of 19%. And has also planned capex of 1,230 crore to expand its business. And now that real estate sector is reviving in India, it should benefit companies like Century Ply. Although there is tough competition from both organized and unorganized market. Financially also the company is looking good. It has negligible debt with good profitability. Although in terms of valuation, it is looking slightly expensive at a P ratio of 50, but worth considering for long-term wealth creation. So what is your take on Century Ply? Do you think it is worth investing in Century Ply? Let me know in the comments. Also tell me which stocks you want me to cover in the fundamental analysis. I hope